Assalamu alaikum viewers, this is General Sarwar and you are watching Sarwar's Chronicle. It is probably the first ever local YouTube channel designed to bring you the comprehensive rundown on the selected topics from regional history, our independence war and military life, covering its various facets to include training, operation, peacekeeping, employment in Chittagong hill tracts and many more. By the way, I'm not a teacher, but I served in the Bangladesh Army for nearly 3 decades. But I have had my opportunities to teach officers and man on various weapon systems used in the infantry, including second generation missile and tactics. I was also a principal of military collegiate school Khulna, which is designed in line with the cadet colleges that we have around the country. But this particular institute is 4 times larger than one cadet college. As principal, I concentrated more on improving the environment so that the students could excel in the academics and also arrange resources to organize school activities. I also delivered lectures in various civil and military training institutes, including private and public universities. When the army is not at war, it usually undertakes training to materialize the age-old dictum, train hard, fight easy. Every army in the world do the same thing because that's the best way to remain prepared to fight the adversaries. Even I did 13 different longer and shorter version courses, both at home and abroad, that took nearly 3.5 years time, excluding my PhD. When you are constantly training yourself, you really develop a teaching instinct and inquisitiveness. Besides, the military commanders are required to establish communication with the undercommands to accomplish challenging assignments and time-bound objectives. So these are certain issues that inspired me to take interest in history and education. So after retirement, besides my entrepreneurial responsibility as a group chairman, I teach history in the private university. I'm also trying to set up a think tank platform and also signed up for a history project which should be commencing soon. So in my historical pursuit, I always felt that we are generally less careful about history and much more worried about the present and future. Unless we know where we come from, how would we appreciate where to go? So these are some of the fundamental questions for which we must study the history, including the past, so that we could figure out the road ahead, and that would eventually reduce our worries for the future and the current times. So I thought of having a channel where we could discuss the regional history, of which we are an integral part, our independence war beyond the rhetoric of 3 million deaths and 2 lakh rapes. As a researcher of 1971 war, I always felt that there is much more to cherish than those staggering figures of rapes and deaths. We saw the heroic roles played by the Bengal regiments and those handful officers. Our simple, peace-loving Bengali people turned out to be the fiercest freedom fighters. We lived on the ground. Our marine commandos, they bombed the waterways, and also we bombed targets using improvised tiny Indian aircrafts. And eventually the mighty Pakistanis, they crumbled to their knees. Thus a condition was created wherein the swift lightning Indian campaign, supported by our freedom fighters, they bypassed the pocket of resistance to reach Dhaka, the geopolitical heart of erstwhile East Pakistan. So these are our stories. If we don't sell our stories, who would do that? It would be even ridiculous to even expect that someone else will come and tell our stories. In this information era, probably with a single click on the mouse, it's quite easy to figure out the number of formations and what the armed forces has. But people are more willing to know how the army sleep, how they think, how they work, how they operate, how they train, how they undertake operations, kill enemies and all that. So this is a huge canvas and therefore not everything can be presented here. But certainly an effort can be made so that some of the benign informations can be shared with all of you so that you are more wiser than before. So the idea is to connect the dots and the missing links between what we know and what we don't, thereby broaden our understanding. And I'm sure such understanding will inspire us to do great things. So this is the central idea behind creating this channel. I hope you like the content as it unfolds. Until then, goodbye and Allah Hafiz.